So good evening and welcome back to the Airborne Lawyer YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've put a video up on YouTube. I have not had any chance to edit and sort out my YouTube videos. I have done some recorded flights, I just haven't had the chance to edit them. So I thought I'd shortcut all of that and just go live this evening. So this is going to be completely uncut, and I'll just see what happens. It's been quite a while since I went live on YouTube, so it'll be a journey of discovery for all of us, I expect. So where are we? We are coming over the North Sea, or very nearly coming over the North Sea. We're in the Boeing 777-200. Let's take a look outside. Here we are. British Airways Boeing 777-200. It's Golf Victor India Lima, and this is one of the 777s with the GE engines. We are on our way back from Mumbai in India. Let's just take a quick look at the flight plan so you can see where we are there. Actually, we're just coming over the Dutch coast, or very nearly over the Dutch coast, just over the top of Rotterdam, and we have spent the last 8 hours and 38 minutes making our way back from Mumbai, just down here in India. So we've flown up the west coast of India and down a kind of a dog leg here through Pakistan, up the side of Iran, and then we have made our way straight across and back into Europe. Flight is running perfectly to time. We were expecting a flight time of around about 9 hours and 15 minutes, and we are looking good for that right now. Got about 30 odd minutes to run. It's 3 minutes to 11 UK time. It's 3 minutes to 10 Zulu time, and we are looking at landing, looking down here at the FMC. Our current estimated time of arrival into Heathrow is 22:31 Zulu, so 34 minutes left to fly. What we're going to be doing from here is approaching Heathrow via the Logan 2 Hotel standard terminal arrival route, which we'll take a look at very shortly. The weather in the UK has been really good the last few days. It's hot and summery, and it's often the case that when we have really nice weather, you start taking off and landing on 09 left and 09 right at Heathrow. They're the runways which face east, and that's certainly the case today. We are expecting to land on 09 left. That is what we have programmed in to the FMC. Just looking at our plan, just zooming in a little bit here. We're basically flying a straight line from here, or roughly a straight line from here to Lambourne. That's Lamb just there, the Lambourne VOR, which is just to the northeast of London. And then we're going to continue over the top of the airport and then make a left-hand turn onto base leg and turn finals into Heathrow. So this is the route into Heathrow that takes us right over Windsor Castle, as I often point out if I'm landing on the 09s. Heathrow has now in real life returned to dual runway operations. For the longest time it has been operating single runway operations due to COVID-19. There just have not been that many flights going on, so they were able to operate Heathrow from a single runway for, well, pretty much all of this year, I think. We've just seen the FMC message come up here on the ICAS, and that is telling us that we are now very close to top of descent. Indeed, down here on the FMC you can see that we're just 14 miles from top of descent. You can also just see that down here on the navigation display where it says T/D. So what we need to do is reset the altitude in the MCP, and we're going to do that just over here. We're going to initially descend down to flight level 250, which is where we need to be at Logan for the purposes of our approach. Let's just take a look then, and let's bring up some charts. We are flying the Logan 2 Hotel arrival, and this is what it looks like. We are, as you can see, we're just the pink arrow over here at the moment, and the star starts at Logan, where we need to be at flight level 250. Then we need to go on to Sabre, straight line pretty much all the way in at 263 degrees. Flying into Sabre, where we need to be at flight level 160, and then we'll be expecting flight level 70 at Lambourne. At the moment of speaking, there are no air traffic controllers online on VATSIM, so we're going to be doing this just using Unicom and checking what traffic is around about on the VATScope app, which I have here on my iPhone. So we go all the way into Lambourne, and yeah, then what we're going to do is just continue over the top of Heathrow. So Heathrow's just down here. We're going to be carrying along on a straight line and then looping round on base and final into 09 left. Take a quick look at the chart for 09 left. I am still looking at charts here for Mumbai, so let's just change that. Before we do that, I'm just going to check that we have begun our descent. Okay, which we have. So we've just begun our descent. We've just we've left flight level 400, and we're now descending through flight level 395. So just going to turn on the seatbelt sign, and let's also bring up the descent checklist. So just hit recall on the ICAS. There are no messages coming up there. Notes, well, we're looking at those right now actually. Let's just take a look again at the charts. I never know what the difference is between notes and approach briefing, by the way. I just take notes to be looking at the charts. Right, so here we are. We were going to look at the approach plate for 09 left. So ILS 09 left looks like this, and we can see here a minimum descent altitude of 279 feet. We need to be at 2,500 feet by the time we are 7.5 miles from the localizer. And in the event of a missed approach, we're going to climb straight ahead when passing 1,580 feet or 0 miles from the 09 left localizer, whichever is later. We're then going to climb left onto 036 degrees and continue our climb up to 3,000 feet, or otherwise as directed. Obviously, as I say, we are currently not seeing any controllers online with VATSIM, so I think we'll just do this ourselves, but we'll still try and follow procedures. Hopefully, however, we won't have to go missed. The main thing I'm just going to take note of here, as always, is 279 feet for the minimum descent altitude. Okay, so back in the cockpit, I'm just going to pop that in. Just setting the minimums there, 279. It was 279, wasn't it? I always have this happen to me. Let's just double check that. Yeah, 279. Good. Right, so minimums are set. We've looked over the various approach plates and notes. Auto brakes, we'll just set to 1. Landing data, so VREF and minimums, well, minimums we've just done. And we're looking at a flaps 30 speed of 130 knots. And approach briefing now complete. One thing which looks really good here on the all-new Prepare 3D version 5.2 are the nightlight effects in cities. They've just improved them somehow. It looks an awful lot more realistic. So we're just seeing the east coast appear now of the UK. Kent. Well, actually, that's just down there. That's the Pas de Calais in France, and then just over here you can see Kent just down there. So Dover, and the old RAF base at Manston is just on the north coast of Kent, just down there. So sort of Thames estuary. The Thames kind of begins here and then leads into the city. So we're just coming up on Logan now, and we are descending on schedule. It'll be at flight level 250 by Logan, and you can just check that we're descending nicely on schedule by looking over here on the right hand side of the navigation display. The fact that that pink diamond is nicely on line with that centre line means that we are descending exactly at on schedule, and we're not above or below our glide slope. However, we will soon go above that glide slope unless we continue our descent down. If I just click on the data button here, you can see by Sabre we need to be at 16,000 feet. So I'm now going to select 16,000 and continue our descent. Going to put out a tiny amount of speed brake just because the plane is gaining a little bit of airspeed by virtue of the fact we're just increasing our rate of descent. So just put the speed brakes out a little bit. Nothing drastic, just a little bit of drag on top of the wing there. And just out here is the county of Essex and Suffolk. So you can't quite see where the divide is, but certainly we're in that kind of Essex-Suffolk area. As always, I'm broadcasting this from Cambridge, which is not very far away at all actually. It's just 30, 40 miles north, something like that. And on a clear day you can even pretty much see Cambridge on your way into London. You can always see Stansted Airport, and if you just keep looking to the north of Stansted you can normally just about see the signs of or the kind of sense of buildings and other kind of urban paraphernalia up in Cambridge. Just going to extend the speed brakes a little bit more, so we're still gaining a bit of speed there, up to 280 knots, and we want to be down at around about, no, at 266 is what the auto throttle is trying to get us to. What I was just also going to do over here is take a look at the landing. So we're flying into Heathrow. We're going to be landing on 9 left. It is currently dry. And, oh, good question, what is the weather doing? Let's take a look. Actually, the quickest way to do this is just to bring up my browser window and take a quick look at flight radar. So here is Heathrow. You can see we're still landing on 09 left there. This aircraft here has just come in, and the winds are 70 degrees at 4 knots. The temperature is 23 degrees centigrade, and the QNH is 1023. So let's just pop all of that into our EFB. Winds 070 at 4. The outside air temperature is 23 and the QNH is 1023. Flap configuration, we're going to go for flaps 30. We'll have air conditioning on automatic, and I think we can probably trust that we don't need our anti-ice on, so I'll turn that off. Calculate that. That gives us a VREF of 143. That includes, take the speed brakes in now. That includes an additional 5 knots, so I could actually just say 0 on that. And that gives us 138. So slightly more actually than what the FMC is saying, and I'm never quite sure why they are so different, but I'm going to go with the higher speed. 130 does sound quite low, so we'll go with 30 degrees at 138 knots for our approach. Now we've gone past Sabre, but that's so we're actually slightly above our descent profile now, but that's fine because we've got to get to the far side of Heathrow anyway, so we've got plenty of time to descend. Now descending down to flight level 70, which, as per the chart, is what we're expecting around about at or around Lambourne. So I've got the message come up here on the primary flight display, the yellow STD, which is telling me that I'm still on standard temperature and pressure, despite the fact we have gone through 18,000 feet. 18,000 feet, of course, is the transition altitude in the United States. But in the UK, It varies. Usually coming into Heathrow it's around about 7 or 7,500 feet. I'm going to assume, in the absence of any ATIS right now, I'm going to assume that it's 7,000. And I will switch it over once we have descended through 7,000 feet. The weather in London is certainly better than the weather in which we departed Mumbai earlier today. 8 hours and 58 minutes ago, to be precise. Yeah, it was absolutely torrential rain. Really hot, but very heavy rain and some thick cloud as well. There was some judicious dodging of thunderclouds required on our way out. I'm actually just going to switch over to weather radar here. I'll switch over so I have the right hand side navigation display showing terrain, and we'll have weather on the left. There are a few clouds around here, and it is very hot at the moment here in the UK. So there's a chance, I guess, of the odd thunderstorm. Active Sky can't quite decide whether we have got a layer of sort of hazy cloud or not. Just down here you can see the lights of the M25 and going off down towards the Dartford Bridge. For those familiar with the UK, they are quite significant landmarks for this particular area. And you can now start to see London coming into view over here. So I can see the O2 Arena and Canary Wharf. Over on the other side of the cockpit, this is heading up again into Essex. Can't quite see Stansted Airport. Sometimes you can see it from this side of the plane. Can't see it right now, but it's up in that direction somewhere. And in real life, I'm up in that direction by about 40 miles. So if you've watched any of my other videos here on the channel, wherever I might be on Flight Sim, I am always, particularly during the coronavirus times, of course, I've just always been stuck in Cambridge. But there are many worse places to be. Okay, drag required, says the FMC, so just extending the speed brakes to help slow the plane down a bit. This is now that bit of the flight which I mentioned, where we are flying over the top of London, just to the north of the city. We'll go past Heathrow and then turn back. So we've got some nice views coming in here. You can see some approach lights, just starting to disappear of course as I say that, of London City Airport. And then the luminescent O2 Arena, that big circle. And then there's the tower blocks of Canary Wharf just down there. And then you can see the sights of central London. So there's the Shard. It looks like it's got a flame on top of it, but the Shard in real life does have this illuminated top, which is always changing colour, which is quite spectacular. You can see the Gherkin down there and various other buildings in the City of London, and then you can see the House of Parliament, and you can see London Eye. That looks like the Treasury to me as well, just down there. And Whitehall. Nelson's Column is down there. It's just completely stood on its own. There's no surrounding buildings, which isn't too realistic. And then those big dark patches you can see as we're still heading west here, they are the parks, which is such a special part of London. So St James's Park, Green Park, and then the largest one there is Hyde Park. And the one closest to us, sort of circular one there, is Regent's Park. So now we're at 10,000 feet, still descending. As we're passing through 10,000, I'm going to turn on the landing lights. I'll turn on the taxi lights when I'm at it. Also turn on the wing lights and the logo lights. Always looks nice when you've got the full array of lights on the 777. And for me, always that sense of satisfaction at this point in a flight where I think I really have just about flown this all the way from Mumbai in India to London Heathrow. I mean, I wish I could do this in real life for my day job, but alas, sadly not. At least I'm lucky enough not only to live in an age when we can fly aeroplanes, but when we can simulate flying aeroplanes to this level of accuracy. That's how I can console myself. So just going through a little bit of light cloud.
Gatwick traffic, EV96 Romeo Zulu is clear over runway 26 left, taxiing to gate 105 via Echo, Tango, Juliet, Quebec. Gatwick traffic.
Heathrow traffic, Lufthansa 9 Tango Whiskey, 3 mile final, 908, Heathrow.
So, we just heard someone announce his position on approach to Heathrow, and you can see Heathrow Airport just down here. The two runways flashing there are 27 left, 27 right. We're going to the other end of the airport. And this little airport just down here is RAF Northolt, just in case you're confused by that. Now, time to take a quick look at the iPhone and check out who else is on their way into Heathrow. So there are currently 2 Lufthansa aircraft, both on final, and I think we might be able to see at least one of them over there, look. Yeah, there's just about, see it. Just down there we can see one of the aircraft on short final into 9 right, and just over here is the aircraft on final into 9 left. So they are on their way in, but I don't think we need to be too worried now. I'm just going to switch over actually to flight level change mode now and just take us down a little bit further. Down to 4,000 feet. Yeah, so they're obviously going to be out the way by the time we are on final approach. There are no other aircraft that close in, but once we've established onto the ILS on 9 left, we will we will announce our position to the VATSIMosphere. This is why I like flying on VATSIM, even when you don't have controllers online though, because it just makes such a difference knowing that that flashing strobe I can see on approach into Heathrow is not AI. There's another virtual pilot out there, just like me, who's flying the pattern right now. Just makes it that much more interesting. Just going to switch over to heading mode and just actually I'm going to stick with 265 degrees. Our current heading, and just continue on what is in effect base leg. So we're now through transition altitude.
Heathrow traffic was down to 9 Tango Whiskey vacated runway 98 Heathrow.
So one of the Lufthansa aircraft is now on the ground and vacated. We are now on local pressure for the altimeter. You'll see here where it says 1023 HPA, that is the setting on our altimeter. So 1023 hectopascals. That means I can tick the box on the approach checklist for altimeters, and our next checklist will be landing. So we just need to arm the speed brakes, get out the gear, and set the flaps to 30. Again, VREF speed for tonight is 138 knots. Just a quick scan through the aircraft, just to make sure I've not missed anything. This all looks fine. I'm going to turn off the anti-ice, and we've got all our lights on, and hopefully our virtual passengers are in the back with their seatbelts on, per instruction. Just quickly flipping over to the approach display here on the navigation display, you can now see, so the localizer, the pink line here, is over to our left, which makes sense, and here's the glide slope. So we're just around about at the right altitude. And I think what we can now do is just continue our descent down to 3,000 feet. I'm going to slow up to 200 knots. It's going to help us get there with a little bit of speed brake. We're also going to go through our minimum clean speed, so I'm going to extend 1 degree of flap. Or 1 degree of flaps, plural, I suppose. And I'm now going to turn to 180 degrees, so directly south for base leg, and I'll announce that on VATSIM. Heathrow traffic, Speedbird 138, turning left base for 09 left, will report fully established on the ILS. Speedbird 138 and Heathrow traffic. Just repeating my call sign when I didn't need to. There we are. Still just about, oh, well, we saw it flash a moment ago, just about to the airport over there. Again, the string of bright lights, that's the M4 motorway, which kind of head west out of London and straight out towards Wales. We're now comfortably below the glide slope, which is where I always prefer to be at this point on the approach. I probably went a little bit further than I needed to on our downwind leg just a moment ago, but I'm always just a bit wary of approaching too steep and having to kind of nosedive to catch the glide slope. That always makes it so much harder. I think we're now, well, I guess we're either over Slough or Reading, probably Reading, actually, looking at this. And we're now on an approach course, and we are about to meet the localizer, so I'm just going to put on approach hold. And the plane's now turning to capture the localizer. And again there we can just see a few flashing lights up front, just dipping in and out of the clouds, and that's the runway we're currently lining up with. See those flashing lights very clearly now, so we're heading towards the ones on the left hand side. That's 09 left and 09 right on the right hand side there. And we have a 13-mile final, just waiting now to capture the glide slope. Whilst we're doing that, I'm just going to double check that that my thrust limitation is set to go around, which it is. Our go around heading, should we need to use it, is going to be 036 degrees, so I'm just going to set that in the MCP. Our go around altitude is going to be 3,000 feet, which is what we're at currently, so that's good. Here comes the glide slope, so I'm just going to slow up a bit now, down to 180 knots. Once I'm fully established on both the localizer and the glide slope, I will then announce my position on Unicom. Five degrees of flaps. I'm just going to arm the speed brakes now. And I'm now going to do the conventional thing of 160 knots to 4 DME, which, if we had air traffic controllers on for Heathrow, would almost certainly be an instruction I'd be giving around about now. Heathrow traffic, Speedbird 138 now fully established on the ILS, 09 left, 7 miles, Heathrow traffic. And we'll also get the gear down. So speed brakes are armed, landing gear is down, just waiting for the flaps to go out now. I'm going to take control of the aircraft, so autopilot is off, auto throttle is off. I have control. Back now to 138 knots, our VREF. flaps 30. All of which means landing checklist is now complete. 2 reds and 2 whites on the PAPI. Holding flight directors. Heathrow traffic, speedbird 138, short final, ILS 09 left. Heathrow traffic.
500. 400. 300.
50 above.
200.
Decide.
We're going to go ahead and land.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Very slight float at the end there, but hopefully made for a nice smooth landing. Reverse thrust. And brakes to manual. And I need to vacate this runway really quickly, but I've just realised that I have the tiller mode on yes, the tiller mode is set to on wherever it is. Tiller axis, no. Right, let's try again. There we go. So the flight was alright, but the taxiing's been decidedly dodgy since we touched down. Okay, flaps can come in now. Spoilers can come in. Turn off the landing lights. Turn off the strobes and the wings. And we're just going to take Bravo into the gate. So that's the second right up here. We can get the APU switched on. So once again, a safe arrival into Heathrow. It's a good job that it wasn't like a VAT-sim event with loads of other pilots fighting for space in the vicinity of Heathrow, because if I'd have done that, I'd have got in serious trouble in taking so long to vacate the runway. But there are some benefits to flying into Heathrow at 20 to midnight, I suppose. So let's just override our landing checklist. That's all sorted now. All that's shut down. Next, and let's just select ourselves a gate. JSX asking me if I want to confirm good engine start. I think we've got a bit beyond that. It does do this sometimes. It will come back in a moment. There we are. I've had a look on a few forums actually, because I have noticed, as a general rule, that P3D V5.2 is much more prone to freezing and little issues like that with GSX. I never had that problem before with P3D V5, but it seems to have a slight issue. Doesn't matter how many times I do it, and I know I'm not alone in the sim community when I say this, I just get such a kick out of the fact that I've flown this massive airliner all the way back from Mumbai in India. Let's go back in the cockpit and see if GSX is ready to give us... No, still nothing. Should now give us an option to choose a gate, but it doesn't look like it's going to play ball on that. Doesn't matter. What we're going to do is just pull in here anyway. Still nothing. Okay. So we will just take gate 563 and take our chances with this one. So unfortunately I do not have any system to help guide me in here. It's just a bit of dead reckoning. Let's see how we're looking. Hey, that's not bad. That is not bad. And we will pop on the parking brake. We will turn off the engines and turn off the seatbelt signs. Here comes the jetway. Let's just turn off the taxi lights as well whilst we're at it, and we can also turn off the beacon. So thanks for watching this this live broadcast here on the Airborne Lawyer YouTube channel. Another successful flight. I'm just circling around here. I still enjoy these new effects with the light and reflections in P3D V5.2. It's really, really great. Looks so nice. Thanks for watching, and please join me again very soon for some more long and short haul flying here on the Airborne Lawyer YouTube channel, both on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and also on Prepare 3D V5. Speak to you soon.